Yeah, just a kind of weird video, I think. Just sort of talking about the context of conversation. I mean, this really is. It's not so much. It's half the problem is communicating ideas with each other, right? And the fact that we don't have the same vocabulary, we, define words differently. However you want to put that. We have different emphasis on words. We have different appreciations for what they mean. I mean, I can say the word fear, and one person's going to say, oh yeah, that's some little thing I have once in a while. And another person's going to say, oh, I know what that fear thing is. Holy shit, that's, that kind of thing. We have to get through the personalities of the people we're communicating with, and what their personality, how their personality reacts to certain words or combinations or ways of saying things and emotions and all of this crap that we have to get through to even have a conversation in the context of where we're using words. So some people are using them surgically, and other people are doing this broad, brushy kind of just, whatever. And then we're having conversational videos versus videos where you're trying to get to the real kernel of a hard, explicit truth. And yeah, it just gets so messy. And so there's been this mess between me and the Mystic guy for quite a while. I mean, every now and then we get into a period where we can have a conversation, and then we get into these off cycles where, yeah, we're just puking on each other. And I don't exactly know why that happens, because I really like Nick. I mean, I appreciate the time we've spent together. And so maybe it's just some sort of you're just incompatible, and you can only be friends once you get a divorce or something. I don't know what the fucking thing is, but it doesn't matter. But it is just interesting, this interaction I'm having now with the Modern Mystic, because he's being such a fucking asshole, and and pointing his finger going asshole. You're just saying, how can you legitimately point your finger and go asshole when you're being such a preposterous asshole? I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to play his video, parts of it, and I'm going to read what he wrote here. So, so the context is he wouldn't let me post on his website. So I have continued to make videos responding even in spite of that. And so he finally saw one of them, and he said, okay, I'm going to post this because it's so bad. I'm going to destroy Gary with this video. I'm going to post it, and these people are going to ridicule and mock him, and it's going to be horrible, and ha ha ha, I win. Or something like that. I mean, he just thought it was worth a laugh. and yeah, but in the context also, he wouldn't let me post on his website because I'm not a fact guy. And there was no facts in their argument. They're not pointing out where I'm full of shit. They're just doing the you're full of shit. Well, I know you're full of shit. Okay, I can't exactly point out where you're full of shit, because the only thing I'll be able to find is irrelevant stuff like your hair isn't combed. But no, you're full of shit. I just know it. So anyway, I regretted putting up the first Gary Scratch video. Well, see, I mean, it's tragic that you regret it, just because what's the big deal? I just don't get this idea where I am so obnoxious, just so fucking vile, all right, that you can't even extract something out of it. And as you put it, there's nothing in it, right? You're just saying it's all vomit. That was your fucking critique. It's all vomit. Not even a kernel, not even a penny in the vomit. There's nothing in the vomit. I mean, this is just like, that's just being an asshole. And now I feel obliged to put up his next one. Well, don't feel obligated. I mean, really. The irony is he's going to talk about anger and why do people get angry and why they get this. And I'm saying, well, why do you feel obliged? Why do you give a shit about whatever this is, this crap? Like I said, if it's just vomit, if it's just too beneath you to have to deal with Gary and an argument he might make, then just do fuck it. Basically, I thought it would be funny, and that would be the end of it. But hitting Gary is like hitting a tar baby. Well, whatever. I used to remember what the tar baby was, but I just don't remember. But I imagine it's some kind of hard, sticky thing, and you hit it, and you're just never going to get it off you. So I understand that. Good or bad, whatever. I mean, it just seems, at least you're pointing out, but hitting Gary. So at least you're talking like, yeah, okay, hitting me with what? A mock. You didn't hit me with an argument. You hit me with a mock. I mean, I can do that. You know, I can just go to everybody. Why isn't the mystic being such an ass? Oh yeah, yeah, he's an ass. Oh yeah, he's complete. You know, I can just do that, or I can make an argument explaining. Gary is not compatible with OTP Pub. So I guess this is a guy who talks about facts is now talking like, well, no, we're just guys smoking some cigarettes, having some drinks at the bar, and just talking out of our asses. So he wants it both ways. Yeah, we're talking out of our asses at the pub, but no, we're serious fact guys. I mean, I worked in a pub. I mean, frankly, I'm good at pubs. I'm good pub material because I'm a little bit fucking interesting. Whatever. But on many subjects, his rebellious mind does come up with some interesting angles. Well, apparently you said it doesn't. It's just vomit. That's your critique. It's your fucking words. So another contradiction. On the search for what is actually going on in the economic world, I cannot imagine the possible moments of clarity. I cannot imagine that the possible moments of clarity could ever outweigh his predilection for just making stuff up. Well, whatever. So what did I make up? I mean, yeah, okay, I cut corners. I'll concede that. All right, I say things like, I don't know how much all the houses in America are worth, so let's just throw a number. 50 trillion? I don't know. You know? I don't know. So what's the point? The point is it's just to show proportion. That there's 5 trillion of cash and 50 trillion of houses. And there might be another 50 trillion of businesses. There might be another, 100 trillion in property assets of some other kind. Who knows? But again, all this minutiae crap doesn't go anywhere either. This is sort of a big picture subject. This is like overlooking the chessboard. Now you want to get all obsessed about exactly what color the red squares are. Is it maroon or is it solar temporosity? I mean, you want to see whether the curve on the queen's butt is, a perfect arc. If you want to worry about that kind of shit, fine. But I think the idea is to figure out what's the game. How do we prevent the game from throwing everybody off the board? But whatever. It's your life. You're in control of the ODP empire. So yeah, do what you wish. On the subject of what's actually going on in the empire. Oh, okay. If we ever get around to thinking about what could replace what we have now, he could be valuable there. Maybe. Or if things go so out of control that understanding is no longer of any use. Well, whatever. Again, so yeah, just minimize all of it. Just trivialize it. That's such a sign of, the respect that people put out in the world when they expect respect. I mean, that's just such an evidence of characters when the elitist, aristos, give the poor the dignity of looking at their beautiful pressed suit, and as they, step on their baby's skull on the sidewalk, whatever. I mean, fuck you, fuck that bullshit. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. Just so superiority crap. As I write this, I'm half persuaded myself that knowing what is happening now is probably of not much use, as the future will be so different. Well, that's the catch here. The future can be exactly as it is right now. The only thing that's going to unravel everything is this stupid claims of ownership that people aren't even living on. They're not living in it. They're not eating it. They're not working at it. They're not doing anything. It's just a claim of ownership. And because these claims are going to have to be ruined, those claims are going to ruin everything else. They're going to ruin the real deed stuff, okay, with this funny, it's like these rich people have just exchanged paper with each other. And they said, well, here's $100 million. Oh, well, here, will you take my piece of paper as $100 million too? Can I write $100 million on a piece of paper and you'll accept it? Oh, that's so fucking charming. We're both millionaires. Now, if we can just fool everybody else into thinking our paper is money. And that's all they've done. And so now they've taken this crap and they've integrated into the real economy as if it's real. This Las Vegas money, these Las Vegas tokens, they have converted them somehow through some magic deception into real money. And that's the problem here, is their claims are crap. Ugh. Anyway, so my point is that nothing has to change. If we just get the Las Vegas tokens out of the cash pool, we can just keep everything the way it is now. The only thing that'll change is the super rich and the mega rich won't be the ones who own everything anymore. It'll go back to somebody else owning it. Alright, they can still live in their mansion. They can still have, well, they can't, but they won't be able to have 10 mansions. That's right. And so they won't be able to overvalue everything with their fake Las Vegas money. They won't be able to make everything 10 times more expensive than it should have been with their fake money. Alright, anyway. Gary's desperation to be right the first, well, he didn't say to be right the first time must surely be a bad way of approaching any problem. Well, whatever. You can say it's desperation. I don't think there's any desperation in there. I basically said go listen to the guy's podcast and point out exactly where I was saying something dramatically different than what that guy was saying. And you're not going to find the dramatic difference. I will maintain that going through the basics is still the best way to earn respectable opinion. Well, again, your respectable opinion is to go at anything you don't like. I mean, you don't offer respectable opining, and you pull shit out of your ass all the fucking time. You innuendo all the time. You read a blog post or a commentary or news report, and you innuendo all the time. It may all turn out to be for nothing as events turn the basics over, but it must be better than just making it up as you go along. Mustn't it? Again, another innuendo. Come on, you all agree with me, don't you? He's just making it all up. He doesn't understand what money is. Money is debt. Money isn't where you go. Look, you know, I did videos on this, but I mean, people really have to understand money does not create debt. Okay, it exchanges value. It's guaranteed contract paper, and that's all it is. All right, but basically, if you were going to create a currency tomorrow, what would you do? Oh, that's right. You'd say to everybody out there, I have currency. You can pay your taxes with this currency. Bring me stuff of value, deeds and such, gold, whatever, something of value. Don't bring me the actual horse. Bring me a piece of paper giving me rights to the horse, please. And I'll give you cash for it. Now, it's not really creating debt. It's an exchange of value. Okay, so the cash is still connected directly to an asset. Now, you can't understand that that's how you would create currency, and that the real problem is when you start saying, and I'll give you interest. And where am I going to get the interest from? Where am I going to extract this new thing from? This new value. I don't have stuff in the bank to give the guy interest, so somehow I'm going to have to get stuff to give him interest. Right? I'm going to have to get stuff from someplace else to give that guy interest. All right? And we understand how that works, right? You're going to go extract it by giving somebody a loan, you know, of money. You're going to give them this cash. They put in the money. They bring you stuff, deeds. You give them cash, which they need to pay the taxes. All right? And then you charge them interest. Okay, for doing that, right? Right? And then if they don't take the cash, you'll give them a little token of money for just leaving their cash, leaving their property with you without asking for any cash. And that's the difference between what? A deposit and a loan, right? But the point is the interest is the problem. Because the interest says somewhere there has to be more stuff. Somewhere I have to get, there's more stuff, and there is no more stuff. So somewhere somebody has to sell their stuff, or they have to trade in their stuff to you to get so you can pay that interest. Well, anyway, I don't want to go into the whole thing. But money is not the problem, and money is not debt. On its face, okay? Debt is debt. Bonds are debt. Okay, you print it, Okay, you take cash for it and it's just a piece of paper. That's fucking debt. Alright. So, yeah, there's only 2 comments on this. I think that was all there was so far. Let me just see if there's anything else. So, the Lyle guy attempted to do whatever. He wrote a whole bunch of crap. I'm a busy businessman. I don't got time to listen to anybody, and I'm just doing this for fun. I don't give a damn. And I couldn't give a rat's ass, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what? You take a shit on me, and I'm supposed to say thank you very much. Well, no, I'm not going to say thank you very much. I'm going to say fuck you very much. Jesus. And then the other guy is the Joe guy, who we had extensive conversations about all this stuff. He was the one that cut off our conversation. I wasn't the one who cut it off. So again, another one of these tar baby scenarios or whatever. But he's the one who couldn't take the heat, so to speak. And we agree on a lot of stuff. The only thing we don't agree on is that gold standards make any goddamn sense. And that somehow fractional reserve banking is the problem. It's not the loans, giving out more loans, it's the problem. It's the interest that's the problem. And it's the quality of the loans. If they're not collateralized, then they're fucking idiotic. So if you're going to give somebody $100,000 and keep a stock as collateral, well, yeah, that's idiotic. Alright. So, yeah, whatever. So yeah, let's get to the Mystic video. I'm going to have to jump around, so I might have to cut this, but we'll play the beginning, and then we'll play the middle-y, and then we'll play the end.
Good morning, Monday morning for me. I think I'll start with a comment on the Gary video that I put up. I put it up obviously just for amusement because it was such a load of nonsense, but I realised this.
Yeah, again, we'll say it's such a load of nonsense, but there's just nothing. It's just a vacant accusation. So, I mean, it's just so easy. It's just so... Mystic hasn't even gotten out of his pajamas yet. What the hell does he know what he's talking about? Of course he doesn't. He's full of hot chocolate and such, with marshmallows.
This morning, I got the vibe anyway, that there'd be a number of people that watched it and thought... basically ignored the content and appreciated that the emotion was correct, as in there was anger in there, and you thought that there's something about this economic situation that anger is the appropriate emotion.
Well, let's say, if I could make the argument, all right, that the loafer welfare rich playing this stock market game where they just create pieces of money and say you're rich, I'm rich, you're rich, I'm rich, you're rich, I'm rich, you're rich, I'm rich, have obliged people to work 3 or 4 times as many hours as they should have for the same amount of value returned to them. That should piss people off. Yeah, they've exported all their good jobs to people they're basically almost literally whipping. That should piss people off a little. I mean, come on. This context is something that should piss people off. Alright? Because, yeah, people have done their job. They have gone to work over this side of the Atlantic. I mean, maybe in France nobody works, but over here people do work. Alright? And they sweat and they do all that shit. And they're getting crap for it.
So, quite like the video? I don't know. It's hard to say, there weren't many comments. But I realised in the end that there would be very few people that found it as amusing as I did. And I missed there, basically, the whole idea was a miss, because I get the vibe that quite a lot of people just went with the angry part of it. And
yeah, I don't even think that's what they were going with. Or I mean, you can say that. I mean, you're not talking about it. You're just slandering it. Okay, the it is just being called an it. It's just being this piece of shit. All right, and it's not being described as shit. It's not being explained to be shit. There's no evidence of its shit.
Thought, well, at least somebody's being angry about this, and basically the facts irrelevant whether they're correct or not, But anger is the,
Yeah. Well, again, whether they're correct or not, well, you're not. No one's doing the investigation required to ascertain that. I mean, it's just a mocking session. So fine, do your mocking thing. Play this whatever this game is, but it's just a psych game. What the hell is this shit? All right. I mean, there's concepts, the basic concepts that are pointed out. Explain why those concepts are ludicrous. I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying it's so preposterous, it's funny. That's just so preposterous, it's funny. So it's not a little bit wrong. No, it's outrageously wrong. So, I mean, that you should be at least able to focus a little bit of light on the wrongness. A little bit.
correct emotion. So, in a way, applauded the video.
I didn't see any of that. I would have liked to have seen somebody doing that applauding thing, because I didn't see any of that myself. So, again, we are completely seeing things exactly the opposite. I didn't see one single credible, responsible, decent comment. Now, the second video, yeah, there's 2 long comments, and they're relatively decent. They're both cop-outs, but they're relatively decent.
And again, I should have known before, not about the reaction to that video, but this is the way that people do act. They act on emotions and not on facts, I suppose, is the...
Well, look, Mystic, we've had these conversations. I mean, you can't act without emotion. All right? I mean, if a fact goes into your brain and you just say, that's an interesting fact, now I'll go back to eating my potato chips. That's all that's going to happen. You'll go back to eating your potato chips. I mean, a fact has to, if it's going to make you act, it's going to make you react, it's going to make you do something, it's going to make you try something, it has to motivate your body. And your body has to be motivated by emotion. You have to say, ooh, that causes dissonance, that causes emotion, that causes something, I gotta do something, or I'm going to be emotionally frustrated. I'm going to be emotionally stuck here saying, that's wrong. Like, say somebody's getting raped in my front yard. Now I could say, well, that's an interesting fact. He's sticking his wiener in her vagina without her consent. Oh, he just whapped her face and popped one of her teeth out. That's an interesting fact. Now, shall I go back to eating potato chips, or shall I become emotionally motivated to go do something about it? Fuck.
would be the boring thing to say on the other side of it. And if anything really happens ever of this economy thing, raw emotions probably will be the end point, where people are just being angry. They don't really know why they're being angry.
And so again, there's a slight in here. Like somehow my anger or my passion is completely disconnected to any reality. Like there's nothing here to be a little bit concerned about, or to get a little impatient about, or to get a little tense or anxious about. No. Everything's gonna be fine. It's just the economy, stupid.
They just think that being angry is what they should be doing. And so when enough people do it...
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's just so... It's you know, again, it's just, you don't see how that can be preposterously insulting to me. You know, to basically claim that I'm just being totally reactionary and totally out of control and totally disconnected, and I'm just pointing at boogeymans and, you know, throwing spears. I mean, come on.
Anger is a very easy thing to elicit from people. Anyway.
Yeah, well, anyway, I just don't see the point of discounting the fact that for people to do something, they have to have a reason to do something. And the reason is their own, they have to move their body, their own personal brain, their own personal consciousness has to be focused on it. It ain't going to focus on it if it doesn't care. So it has to care, and caring emotions okay, include frustration and anger and all of that crap. So it's just, there's no other way to get people to do something or to motivate them. They're not motivated without an emotion. They have to have some desire. They have to have a mechanism that's saying, do something about it. Do something. I mean, they're not going to be bothered if they're not bothered. That was one of my quotes from one of my videos. You probably didn't see it, but it's a great quote. No one's going to be bothered if they're not bothered.
Right, let's go on to this first one.
Okay, so
Originations.
I'll go find the other psycho commentary. Alright, back. Yeah, this is the only other part I could find. It's not going to be much, so I'll play it in a minute. But I was thinking, too, about the Steve Keen guy. And what he's, the basic argument. I mean, when he basically says, well, let's print a bunch of cash and give people a sustainable living, and a capacity to pay off their debt with this printed cash, that would create probably, unavoidably, huge inflation. And so the notion would also be that prices and wages would increase with inflation, but the stock market wouldn't. And so that's how the stock market would depreciate. So just as it's doing right now, real money is degrading every year, okay? And they say it's only this little tiny amount, but it's degrading by more than that. And that's why companies like Google are borrowing money, even though they have a ton of money, is because they know the money they're going to pay back the loan with is going to be worth less than the money they got now. Money today is worth more than money tomorrow is going to be worth. Okay, because that's the inflation, deflation, whatever you want to call it, that's built into it. What do I want to say to that? So yeah, so the stock market might never go down to 5,000 or 3,500, but what it will be is that real money will inflate so much that even at 12,000, if real prices, like if you're paying, $25 for a gallon of milk, who cares if the Dow hits 15,000? Because it won't mean much in real dollars. So anyway, let's play this.
The world interest rates are flattening to zero, and it has ramifications. And
yeah, well, it just the reason why they're flattening to zero again is that there's this preposterous amount of fake paper, and there's nothing. It can't go anywhere. It can't migrate anywhere. And there's not enough. There's no assets for it to buy, so it just keeps trying to find somebody to borrow it.
Deflationary expectations is one of them, and if you read the link in the article, there are so many more. It's becoming even more interesting. You can get angry about it if you like.
Right. Well, the only deflation there is that slowly, right now, debt is dying. So as debts are dying, as some of the debt can't avoid being hidden, the failed debt. So some of it gets realized, the bankruptcy happens, and all that kind of stuff, even the personal bankruptcy, whatever. That creates deflation because it destroys some of this paper. Some of this fake paper gets wiped out. So we're in the fake paper wiping out process. But we're at like this 1% a year rate. All right, and 1% a year isn't going to, we don't have a 100-year recession. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so I think it's going to have a compression somewhere where a whole bunch of it's going to peak wipe out. And that's going to be the stock market. Okay, that's where you at one time wipe out 50% of it.
Good. I'm not an angry sort of person, so I don't. So,
But you are, Mystic. You really, you say you're not an angry kind of person, but man, look at the lengths you go to mock somebody or score a point, right? The little snarky comments. You don't think there's emotion in that crap, in that little weaselly crap that you type. The little arrows you try to shoot up people's noses. What the hell is that crap? All right, maybe it's not. Maybe the emotion doesn't turn into a little talk shit. Okay, maybe your eyes don't go all funny and some other kind of bullshit. But what's going on inside your psychology is funky, fella. All right, because that's the reason why you would type that crap. Okay, that's snarky. Well, it's like trying to find a nice little tender carrot in a puddle of vomit. I mean, what the fuck is that shit? I mean, me saying, what the fuck is that kind of shit? Is that somehow different than that comment? Is there something different motivating those two expressions? I mean, you're just critiquing people because, okay, my feet are bigger than yours, and so they make a flopping noise when I walk. But your feet are walking too. Your feet are moving one foot in front of the other too. I mean, this is just such... I mean, come on. You're smarter than this.
I just think it's amusing when people get angry about things that they don't understand.
You just can't see the pretentiousness in that. They get angry about things they don't understand. I mean, what does anybody do with that? I mean, until you can make that just a little more, put a little more of a scalpel edge on that, I don't think you'd want your surgeon using a knife that dull. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, you just take a sledgehammer and just say, I'm just gonna smash the little pain in the ass mouse. Yeah, why bother surgically killing it when I can just drop a sledgehammer on it and call it a piece of shit? There, look. See, after I smash it, it's just shit. Whatever.
It seems, looking at myself from here, that I just prefer to try and understand it. And if I ever get angry, I just get angry at myself for not understanding it.
Again, well, that's really nice teachery kind of preaching. Okay? And yeah, there's a nice, beautiful, charitable presumption in there that basically saying, you ignorant asshole. I mean, so again, it's just, what, we're not trying to understand. We're not putting something out there and saying, look, this looks like pie to me. It's a blueberry pie. I mean, I see the blueberries. Here's the syrupy crap. Here's the little burnt up crust stuff. Explain to me how this isn't blueberry pie. And you get back, that's a pile of vomit with no little carrots in it. No, I mean, what does that have to do with the crust and the blue color and the fucking corn syrup and all this shit that's in here? What does that fucking have to do with what's here? Oh, it has nothing to do with that. I just thought I'd make a petty little fucking weaselly jab at your nuts. That's all you're doing.
There's very little in the world that it's ever worth getting angry about.
Well, these are amazing statements. I mean, there's very little in the world that's blah, 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 except the fact that I exist for no good reason. I shouldn't get pissed off about that. No, just let them keep doing it. Yeah, don't let it bug you. Yeah, life is preposterous. It's basically we're living in a gulag, right, run by 3% of the human population that has little leashes and fucking collars around our balls. And I'm supposed to say, well, don't be bothered. They feed you a Twinkie now and then. Why get upset? Just play along. No, I don't wanna.
Sometimes it's not even worth getting an understanding of it either. That doesn't help. But
oh, please. I mean, it just doesn't. Whatever. I mean, really. I mean, like, I watched the stupid War of the Worlds movie the other day. It's the stupidest fucking movie ever made, almost. Everybody's car is wiped out, right? And so, yeah, don't bother trying to figure out why the cars don't work. And apparently they all don't work because a solenoid, the most reliable, duty-hard electronic part in the freaking car. I mean, the last part that could possibly be eliminated even by, like, a nuclear bomb electro-melty thing. The last part that would get fucked over. That was the whole problem. It's just the solenoid. And nobody could figure that out. And it certainly still doesn't explain why a part on the starter would stop everybody's car from running. That doesn't make any sense. Or stop people from just pushing their car and jump starting it. Doesn't explain that either. So I think understanding is probably really, really good. Because if you understand, then you can do something.
Getting angry, I don't recommend it. But if it's in your character, in your nature...
If it's in your character, your nature, to be one of those silly people who do something about problems, we don't have any problems. I'm living in France in a nice villa. You know, it's kind of a villa. You know, it's a country house. I'm living in a comfortable country house, having all kinds of free medical care and shit. What do I got to worry about? I got gold in the yard. I got gold in the garden. What the fuck do I? Why do I give a fucking rat's ass? The nearest city's 50 miles away. It'll take the zombies weeks and weeks to get here. I mean, what is that? What is that? If you're the type of person who gives a fuck. Oh, okay. You silly asshole. You care. Oh, things bother you. Oh, what a fucking silly notion that is, to be bothered. I mean, it bothers me, people who are talking people out of being bothered. Because that's why this world is a shithole. Is nobody could be bothered to make it not a shithole.
Then, obviously, there's nothing you can do about it. Bye.
Well, even if I could do something about it, I wouldn't do anything about it. Because frankly, I really don't see any point in existing, you know, for the purpose of just being another cog in the goddamn coggery. Alright? I mean, if that's all I'm going to be, is the little wheel that turns and then turns and then it crushes the little mouse over here and it crushes this guy over there and it just crushes. If I'm just going to be a coggy wheel in a machine that's just grinding shit up and making crap, who the fuck wants that? I want to be a broken wheel. I want to be a wheel that busts the system, that the fucking whole thing breaks down and all blows up and all the wheels fly loose. I want to fucking break the machine. Whatever machine it is, every bit of this. I want to break nature, I want to break human beings, I want to break culture, I want to break the whole fucking thing because it's a big fucking pile of crap. So yeah, I'm glad I'm a fucking piece of shit, gnarly broken gear, and every time I turn, maybe eventually my little broken wheel will twist and turn and torque the whole thing into blowing the fuck up. I'd be very proud to be a broken wheel in this piece of shit machine. Yeah. Yeah, so just be a turner. Just be a go-alonger. Just be a go-alonger. A little, one of those little, you know, whatever they call that on the pulley, you know, the belt. The little tensioner. Yeah, just be a little tensioner. Just keep everything smooth and comfortable. Keep everything riding really well. Yeah. Keep the little belt of hell turning. Yeah. So, whatever. Mock. That was a pretty good mocking. I believe we're done. Yes, there we are. Alright, so anyway, like I said, I mean, the context of this is no matter what happens between me and Nick, you know, we had a great life together. And, you know, even though it's a nasty divorce and we both killed the kids and all that shit, you know, I still have some fond memories. And I'll choose to cling to that and play along when I can. But, yeah, he is being kind of an asshole. I mean, just sorry. I mean, he talks like he's not an asshole, but he is an asshole. Yeah. He's trying to play a non-asshole on the internet, but there's an asshole in there. I mean, there's one in here too, but I'm just saying, he's not better than any of the rest of us. He pretends to be, but he's not.